What's good, hoop heads? Your courtside analyst Tips and Streams is back in the game. On the slate today, breakdowns for the latest NBA matchups set to light up the hardwood. Before we tip off, make sure you slam that subscribe button on our YouTube channel to stay in the loop with all our predictions and top picks. So, let's get started. The first today's prediction is for matchup between Chicago Bulls and Philadelphia 76ers. Tonight's hardwood battle pits the Chicago Bulls against the Philadelphia 76ers in a classic East Coast showdown. The Bulls, hovering at the 12th spot in the Eastern Conference, are hustling to find their groove, evident in their shaky 10-17 stat sheet. They're lagging in the scoreboard hustle, ranking 26th with 109.9 points a night, grabbing boards at 22nd place with 42.7 per game, and dishing out assists at a 29th place clip with 23.7. On the defensive end, they're giving up 113.6 points per game, landing them at 14th in the league defensively. Flip the script to the 76ers, and you've got a squad in top form. Perched at third in the Eastern Conference with a solid 18-7 record, they're dominating the point game at third in the league with 122.9 points per game, snatching fifth place in rebounds with 45.9, and racking up assists at 13th with 26.2. Their defense is tight too, only allowing 111. 0 points per game, putting them at a strong 7th in the league. Diving into the nitty-gritty, field goal percentage, three-point accuracy, and rebound prowess, the 76ers are on fire. They've been nailing it on both ends of the court with consistency and efficiency. Don't sleep on the home court factor either. History's shown teams ball out in their own crib. With Philly hosting, that's an extra edge for the 76ers. So, looking at the form, stats, and that home court boost, the smart money is on a 76ers win. They're killing it in crucial game areas and likely to leverage their home turf. But the Bulls aren't down for the count. They've been scrappy, covering spreads left and right, including 7 of their last 8. Despite a tough run against the 76ers, losing 8 of their last 10 matchups, they've covered the spread in 8 of those games. Facing a massive 11-point spread tonight, I'm backing the Bulls to cover. The next prediction is for the match between Houston Rockets and Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cleveland Cavaliers, hitting the hardwood on their home turf, are balling through a rough patch with their star players Darius Garland and Evan Mobley riding the bench due to injuries. This twist has amped up the pressure on Donovan Mitchell, who's been dropping buckets big time, and Jarrett Allen dominating the glass. Despite these lineup shakeups, the Cavs hustled to a win against the Atlanta Hawks. Their game's got some late-quarter blues, though, as they're lagging in the league, ranking 27th for crunch time and second-half scoring. But hey, their defense is tight on the arc, leading the league by holding foes to a mere 31.4% from downtown. Flipping the script, the Houston Rockets are on a roller coaster ride, snagging 5 wins in their last 6, but hitting the skids against the Milwaukee Bucks. The Rockets are leaning hard on Fred VanVleet, Jalen Green, and Alperen Sengun. VanVleet's the go-to guy, expected to stuff the stat sheet in points, boards, and dimes. They're netting an average of 109.5 points and allowing 105.1 with their three-point game on fire at 36.1%. But on the road, it's a different story, with 8 losses in their first 10 away games. The Cavs are kings of the boards, which could be a game-changer, especially with their towering lineup and the Rockets feeling the heat from their packet scheduler. Cleveland's defense against the three-pointers could also slam the door on Houston's long-range game. Talking betting, the Cavs are the 5-point favorites, with the total set at 215.5. Cleveland's got the upper hand in their recent face-offs against Houston, going 7-3 against the spread. Houston's stumbling in non-conference clashes, showing a shaky 1-2 against the spread. It's back-to-back games for the Rockets, with travel fatigue kicking in. They've lost both of their back-to-backs this season. All signs point to the Cleveland Cavaliers not just taking the win, but also beating the 4.5-point spread. Their lockdown defense, especially on perimeter shots, combined with their rebounding supremacy and Houston's road woes, tips the scales in Cleveland's favor. Garland and Mobley's absence is a hitch, but the Cavs have proven they can pivot and prevail. My bet is on the Cleveland Cavaliers minus 4.5. The next prediction is for the match between Los Angeles Clippers and Indiana Pacers. Tonight's matchup on the hardwood features the Los Angeles Clippers squaring off against the Indiana Pacers at Gainbridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, set to be a high-voltage clash. The Clippers, buoyed by a hot streak of 7 straight wins, are hungry to climb further up the Western Conference ladder. Currently sitting in the 6th spot, they're just 4.5 games shy of the top, boasting a hefty scoring average of 115.6 points per game and a sharp 48.0% field goal precision. On the flip side, the Pacers, though hit by a slump including a 3-game slide, are a force to reckon with. They're perched at the 7th position in the Eastern Conference and are the league's top scorers with an impressive 127.4 points per game, nailing 50.4% of their shots. Their offensive firepower keeps them in the thick of the action, lighting up the scoreboard. The player face-offs are especially captivating. For the Clippers, Kawhi Leonard, with an average of 24.0 points this season, looks poised to make a significant impact. Alongside him, Paul George's scoring finesse and Ivica Zubac's rebounding prowess are vital. For the Pacers, all eyes are on Tyrese Halliburton's playmaking magic, contingent on his game-time decision. He, Miles Turner, and Buddy Hield could be game-changers for Indiana. The Clippers are slightly favored by the bookmakers with a 2.5-point edge, reflecting their recent form and historical advantage over the Pacers. Yet the Pacers, only 2 5-point underdogs, have the potential to flip the script, especially on their home court. The game is anticipated to be a scoring bonanza, with the total points expected to soar past 242.5. To sum up, while the Clippers seem to hold the upper hand with their win streak and form, the Pacers, with their scoring prowess and home turf, might just turn this into a nail-biter. Key performances from stars like Leonard and Halliburton, coupled with strategic execution, will be crucial. My bet is on the Clippers to take the win and beat the spread, continuing their formidable run. I'm backing the Los Angeles Clippers with a minus 2.5 point. The next prediction is for the match between Charlotte Hornets and Toronto Raptors. Tonight's epic hardwood clash presents the Charlotte Hornets and the Toronto Raptors facing off in a pivotal battle. The Hornets, grappling with a shaky 7-17 record, are hungry to snap their 4-game skid. On the flip side, the Raptors, with a 10-15 record, are eager to climb up the ranks. Peering into the recent court battles of both squads, the Hornets are encountering tough times, particularly in their last 10 outings, scraping together only 2 wins against 8 losses. Their away game story is even more grim, boasting a meager 1-4 record, signaling trouble in enemy territories. Meanwhile, the Raptors haven't had smooth sailing either, particularly in the Eastern Conference showdowns, where they've tasted defeat in 7 of their last 8 matches. Diving into the stat sheets, the Hornets boast a 48.8% shooting success from the field, overshadowing the Raptors' 38.5%. Yet, the Raptors have a slight upper hand in the 3-point realm, sinking 15 out of 46, just ahead of the Hornets' 21 out of 49. When it comes to grabbing rebounds, it's a neck-and-neck race, with the Hornets just nudging ahead 51-46. Rewinding to their last face-off on December 8, 2023, the Hornets clinched a nail-biting 119-116 victory, showcasing their sharpshooting prowess both inside and beyond the arc. Injuries could be the game-changer tonight. The Hornets are reeling from several key players being on the fence, including Gordon Hayward, Terry Rozier, and P.J. Washington, while LaMelo Ball and Cody Martin are benched indefinitely. The Raptors, comparatively less battered, will miss Christian Coloco. Weighing the overall team dynamics, recent form, and the Hornets' away game hurdles, the Raptors, defending their turf, might have the slight upper hand. Their shooting accuracy at home, coupled with the Hornets' injury challenges, could tilt the balance. My money's on the Toronto Raptors, banking on their home court vibe and the Hornets' depleted lineup to beat them by 10 points or more. The next prediction is for the match between Detroit Pistons and Atlanta Hawks. Tonight's showdown on the hardwood at State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia, is gearing up to be a blockbuster. The Detroit Pistons, with a record of .224, are eager to break free from their daunting losing streak. On the flip side, the Atlanta Hawks, with a 10-15 tally, are on the hunt to recapture their winning mojo after a string of setbacks. The Pistons have hit a rough patch in away games this season, boasting a 1-12 record on the road, and face a tough challenge tonight. Their scoring game has been lackluster, averaging 108.3 points with a 46.1% field goal rate, while their defense has been conceding an average of 120.4 points. Key player Cade Cunningham, with an average of 22 points and 7.3 assists per game, has been a spark of hope, yet the team has struggled to find a consistent rhythm. Atlanta, despite a recent dip in form, still brings a heavy-hitting offense to the table, spearheaded by Trae Young's impressive 27.2 points and 10.8 assists per game. Their home performance hasn't been top-notch, standing at 3-7, but they've shown they can rack up big numbers, especially on their turf. The Hawks' defense, though, remains a weak spot, potentially giving the Pistons a window of opportunity. The face-off between Cade Cunningham and Trae Young is set to be a pivotal clash, with Cunningham's defensive talent up against Young's scoring flair, a key battle that could swing the game's momentum. Looking at betting trends, the Hawks have been shaky against the spread lately, with a 0-5 record in their recent encounters. Nevertheless, their home matches are typically high-scoring, with 7 out of 9 going over the total. The Pistons, though struggling overall, have a slightly better track record against the spread in away matches. Considering recent performances and statistical breakdowns, the scales tip in favor of a Hawks win. Their offensive firepower, particularly in home matches, seems to give them the upper hand over the Pistons. The game's total points are expected to fall short of 245.5, suggesting a game with fewer points than projected. For bettors, leaning towards a Hawks victory seems wise, especially considering the Pistons' recent packed schedule and consequent fatigue. However, I'm not convinced about heavily favoring the Hawks. There's no chance I'm going for a double-digit line with them. My wager, I'm backing the Detroit Pistons with a +11. The next prediction is for the match between Minnesota Timberwolves and Miami Heat. The Minnesota Timberwolves are tearing up the Western Conference with a killer 18-5 record, showing they're not just playing around. They're racking up an impressive 133 points per game on offense. Sure, that's only 19th in the league, but where they really bring the heat is on defense, allowing a mere 105.7 points per game. That's second best across the board. Their defensive game is a force to be reckoned with and could play a huge role in tonight's showdown. Diving deeper into the Timberwolves playbook, they're nailing a field goal percentage of 47.6% and draining threes at 39.7%, proving they've got serious chops when it comes to putting points on the board. Their rebound game is just as slick, averaging 42 grabs per game, with a pretty even split between snagging offensive and defensive rebounds. This shows they've got a game plan that covers all bases. Now, looking at the Miami Heat, their season's performance and stats are key players in tonight's game. We've got to stack up their shooting percentages and rebounding skills against the Timberwolves to see who's got the edge, plus how they've both played recently in this city, and their past face-offs will shed some light on what to expect. For tonight, the Timberwolves are coming in strong with their top-tier defense and sharp scoring. But don't sleep on the Heat, especially with the home crowd backing them. It's going to come down to who dominates in shooting precision and rebound control. Wrapping it up, the Timberwolves look set to dominate, thanks to their defensive prowess and all-around efficient gameplay. If they keep up their rebounding power and stay accurate with their shots, they're likely to snag the win. But remember, the NBA's full of surprises, and the Heat might just use their home advantage to flip the script. Considering both teams prefer a more calculated defensive style of play, I'm betting the total points for the Timberwolves and Heat will stay under 220.5. The next prediction is for the match between Memphis Grizzlies and Oklahoma City Thunder. In the Hoops universe, we're gearing up for a clash of titans as the struggling Grizzlies, sitting at a modest 6-18, prepare to battle it out with the high-flying Thunder, boasting an impressive 16-8 slate. The form book is crucial in sizing up this contest. The Thunder are soaring, netting 3 victories in their recent 4 games, including a marquee win against the Denver Nuggets. The Grizzlies, in contrast, are in a bit of a rut, dropping their last 4 and 5 out of their last 6. Memphis is dealing with key roster gaps. Derrick Rose is benched with a hamstring issue, and they're eagerly awaiting Ja Morant's comeback from suspension. This leaves a significant void in their starting five, likely to be filled by Desmond Bane, Vince Williams Jr., Jaren Jackson Jr., and Bismack Biyombo. Oklahoma City, on the flip side, is set to roll out their usual starters: Josh Giddey, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Lou Dort, Jalen Williams, and Chet Holmgren, all in tip-top shape. Spotlighting individual stars, Desmond Bane shines for Memphis, clocking in at 24.9 points and 4.7 rebounds, with Jaren Jackson Jr. also playing a pivotal role. For Oklahoma City, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's stellar 30.7 points and 6.4 assists per game stand out, ably backed by Jalen Williams and Chet Holmgren's solid performances. Stat-wise, the Thunder hold the edge, averaging 120.4 points on 49% shooting, and capping opponents at 113.6 points on 44.3% shooting. Their prowess in three-pointers and free throws outshines Memphis. The Grizzlies, meanwhile, are clocking in at 106 points on 43.4% shooting, trailing in three-point and free throw metrics. Past matchups and home turf advantage are key. The Thunder's solid home game could tip the scales. The Grizzlies, with their away game woes, face a steep challenge. All things considered, the odds favor the Oklahoma City Thunder. Their robust form, home court leverage, and overall squad health give them the upper hand over the Memphis Grizzlies. Memphis might put up a spirited fight, especially with Ja Morant's return boosting spirits, but they might find the Thunder's offense overwhelming. To sum up, betting on Oklahoma City. Thunder to win seems logical, but they're not a sure bet to cover the spread. In their last 5 outings, they've allowed 116.2 points per 100 possessions, with just a plus 0.8 net rating. The Thunder, as the fitter team, are poised for a comfortable home win, but covering consistently large spreads is still a question mark. My wager, Memphis Grizzlies with a 10.5-point advantage. The next prediction is for the match between Brooklyn Nets and Utah Jazz. The anticipated showdown in the NBA between the Brooklyn Nets and the Utah Jazz at Utah's Delta Center is shaping up to be a riveting clash on the hardwood. The Nets, currently 13-12, are on a mission to rebound from back-to-back setbacks against the Nuggets and the Warriors. Conversely, the Jazz, with a 9-17 record, are also eager to bounce back from a significant 21-point loss to the Kings. Delving into the stats and recent plays of both squads, it's evident this game is going to be a test of tenacity. The Nets are notorious for their scoring hustle, dropping an average of 116.4 points per game, placing them 9th in the league. They're also a force on the boards, leading the league with an average of 47.5 rebounds per game. But their defense is raising some eyebrows, allowing 114.7 points per game on average. The Jazz's season has been a rocky road, as seen in their scoring and defense numbers. They put up an average of 111, 7 points per game, ranking them 22nd, and defensively, they're letting through 120 points per game, putting them 24th in the league. Despite these challenges, they've shown promise on the glass, averaging 46.3 rebounds per game. Looking at the betting lines, the Brooklyn Nets are the pick with a 3.5-point spread in their favor and an over-under set at 232 points. These odds lean towards the Nets, given their overall hustle and recent form. Player performance is key in this matchup. The Nets' Cam Thomas is on a hot streak, having racked up 41 points against the Warriors. With Ben Simmons and Lonnie Walker sidelined, Spencer Dinwiddie and Cam Thomas are expected to hold down the fort at guard. The Jazz, dealing with injuries, including Jordan Clarkson's thick issue, are counting on Colin Sexton and Lauri Markkanen to step up. Factoring in the team's current form, home court advantage, player injuries, and stats, the needle tilts slightly toward the Brooklyn Nets. Their scoring edge and rebounding prowess might just tip the scales against the Jazz. However, the Jazz's grit and the unpredictable nature of the NBA suggest an upset is not off the table. To wrap it up, while the Brooklyn Nets seem poised to snag the win, the ever-changing NBA game gives the Utah Jazz a solid shot in this exciting face-off. My prediction is a Nets win, but I'm betting on the Jazz to beat the 4-point spread. I'm going with the Jazz at +4. The next prediction is for the match between Dallas Mavericks and Denver Nuggets. The Dallas Mavericks are hitting the court with some serious swag, fresh off a sizzling 130-121 slam over the Portland Trail Blazers. Luka Doncic is lighting up the scoreboard, dropping a monstrous 40 points, grabbing 12 boards, and dishing out 10 assists, proving he's the Mavericks' ace. Tim Hardaway Jr. came off the pine to rack up a cool 25 points. But the squad's navigating some rough waters with key players like Kyrie Irving and Derek Lively too sidelined with injuries. Flipping the script, the Denver Nuggets are looking to bounce back from a heartbreaker against the Oklahoma City Thunder, edged out by just a point at 118-117. Nikola Jokic is the Nuggets' main man, posting a solid 24 points, 12 rebounds, and 6 assists last game. Michael Porter Jr. is also doing his thing, adding 20 points and 11 rebounds to the mix. Despite a few knocks, heavy hitters like Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon are gearing up to face off against the Mavericks. The Nuggets are owning their home court this season, boasting a 10-2 record in their crib. They're dropping an average of 114.7 points per game, while holding their opponents to 110.8. Their offensive game is fire, especially with Jokic consistently filling up the stat sheet. But they're struggling at the charity stripe, ranking last in the league with a 72.5% free throw average. Their assist game is on point, though, sitting pretty at second in the league with 29.7 dimes per game. The Mavericks are killing it from downtown, leading the league with 15.9 trays per game on 42.6 attempts. Their perimeter game is tight, a key weapon against the Nuggets. But their defense is raising some eyebrows, sitting in the bottom 10 and allowing 116.2 points per 100 possessions. Looking at the betting lines, the Nuggets are the bookies' pick with a 7.5 point spread favor. The over-under is pegged at 238.5. While the Nuggets rock at home, they're shaky at covering the spread, holding an 11-16 record against the Mavericks 14-11. Analyzing both teams' playbooks and their face-offs, the Nuggets seem to have the edge with their home court mojo and the Mavericks' injury woes. They've got the upper hand in offensive efficiency and home play, which could be game changers. But with Luka Doncic in prime form, counting out the Mavericks is a no-go. His game-changing skills could tighten the scoreboard more than expected. Wrapping up, the Nuggets might have the advantage, especially on their turf and with a solid offense, but the Mavericks' three-point artillery and Doncic's magic could turn this into a nail-biter. I'm expecting the Nuggets to clinch it, but I am betting on a high-octane scoreboard-busting showdown. My money's on the total points soaring over 238. The next prediction is for the match between Washington Wizards and Sacramento Kings. Tonight's showdown at the Golden One Center is not just a game. It's a basketball ballet with the Sacramento Kings orchestrating the moves against the Washington Wizards. The Kings have turned their home court into a basketball citadel, boasting a 15-9 record that speaks to their dominance. De'Aaron Fox, a maestro with the ball, has been a whirlwind of points and assists, clocking in an awe-inspiring 30.1 points and 6.4 assists per game. His offensive mastery is expected to dazzle in this encounter. On the flip side, the Wizards are in a tight spot with their .420 record, a number that echoes their defensive woes. Ranking 30th in the league for opponent points per game, their defense is more like an open gate than a barrier. Their rebound game, languishing at the bottom of the league, might just be their Achilles heel in setting the game's tempo and forging scoring chances. The numbers are betting on a Kings triumph, a prediction backed by their fortress-like home performance and the Wizards' defensive lapses. The Kings are poised to not just win, but also to beat the 11.5-point spread, a reflection of their superior gameplay and the Wizards' struggles on the road. With an over-under of 245 points, expect a scoreboard firework, with the Kings' offensive edge and the Wizards' porous defense setting the stage. The Wizards, having expended their energy against the Suns just last night, find themselves defensively drained in this back-to-back game. The Kings, known for their offensive hustle, are likely to capitalize on the Wizards' defensive frailties. Despite the broad spread, the Wizards' defensive challenges are too glaring to ignore. In essence, the Sacramento Kings are the team to watch. Their solid home record and the Wizards' away game defensive difficulties paint the Kings as the undisputed frontrunners to not only win, but also cover the 11.5-point spread. I'm betting on the Sacramento Kings to clinch this victory and beat the spread. The last prediction for today is for the matchup between New York Knicks and Los Angeles Lakers. Tonight's showdown on the hardwood at thecrypto.com arena features the New York Knicks going head-to-head with the Los Angeles Lakers in what promises to be a nail-biting matchup. The Knicks, currently holding the 6th seed in the Eastern Conference with a 14-11 tally, are hungry to redeem themselves after their recent 144-122 thrashing by the LA Clippers. Meanwhile, the Lakers, sitting in the 8th spot in the Western Conference at 15-11, are also eager to make a comeback following their 129-115 setback against the Spurs. A closer look at the numbers uncovers some fascinating dynamics. The Knicks are dropping an average of 114.5 points per game with a solid 46.2% field goal accuracy, including a 38.1% conversion rate from downtown. They're also sharp from the free throw line, sinking 75.0% of their shots. On defense, they're a force topping the league in limiting opponent rebounds, conceding just 40.6 boards per game and leading the NBA with a 52.7% rebound rate. The Lakers are also posting impressive numbers, averaging 114 points per game with a remarkable 48.8% shooting efficiency from the field. They're netting around 35% from the three-point line and scoring 75.7% of their free throws. Notably, they're the league leaders in minimizing opponents' free throw opportunities and conversions. This defensive edge could be pivotal in tonight's clash. Injury woes might tip the scales. The Lakers are battling several injuries, with stars like LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and D'Angelo Russell listed as questionable, which might hamper their game. The Knicks are missing Mitchell Robinson due to an ankle injury, potentially weakening their defensive structure. Analyzing the recent performances and stats, the Lakers' staunch defense could intriguingly counter the Knicks' dynamic offense. Key players for the Knicks like Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle, and R.J. Barrett, and for the Lakers, LeBron James and Anthony Davis, will be instrumental. Betting lines hint at a tight contest. The game's over-under is pegged at 227.5, suggesting a high-scoring game. With the Lakers' formidable home defense and the Knicks' offensive prowess, this scenario seems likely. To sum it up, while the Knicks have proven they can contend with the best, the Lakers' home defense gives them a slight advantage. However, the uncertainty around the Lakers' key players adds an unpredictable twist. If the Lakers have their stars in play, they might edge out in what's expected to be an exhilarating game. My prediction, a high-tempo game with over 232 total points. I'm betting on a combined score of over 232 for the Knicks and Lakers. All right, hoopheads, that's the buzzer for today's predictions. Big thanks for rolling with us. If you're vibing with our picks, slam that subscribe button and get on board. Catch you on the court tomorrow. Peace.